Sucker.
Just give me 5 more minutes.
Wake up, mother...
What's up, dude?
I got a hot date tonight. Do I put on HP and defense gear or attack defense?
Bro, that's a complicated question. It's like 7 o'clock in the morning, bruh. Can I finish my coffee first?
Oh. What do you think that cruel sun outside was?
Bruh, your dad jokes are getting worse.
Ikimos!
Yo, what's going on, guys? Sekapoko here, bringing you another 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross video. This be going through Escanor and talking about him for the red version. And we're going to be talking about his equipment, as well as if you should be pulling on him or not pulling on him as a player, and because of where he's landing in the game at this very second. So, guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Alrighty, guys, so the question I have been getting asked a lot lately on stream, and I'm probably going to get asked a lot, is going to be, what UR gear should I build for Escanor? And the question I keep getting asked is it attack, defense, or HP and defense? Well, currently I have a 4-star Super Awakened Escanor on the Japanese version, and I maxed out the green one versus the red one, both of which are, if you wanted to know the complete max out level, I am at maxed out ultimate level, 51,000 combat class, pretty darn solid Escanor. The cosmetic upgrades, I've done a decent chunk of them for my Escanor. I haven't done full send on them, but that's where I'm at my Escanor. So, is an attack and defense Escanor good for both red and green Escanor? Well, the answer to that is very simply yes, it's really good. So, Sekapoko, should you go HP and defense? Well, that's going to depend on your strategy and why it's your strategy and what you're going to be doing. So, Sekapoko, also, why did you go into attack defense? There's so many questions, random viewer. You have so many questions. Well, let's go over Escanor's kit really quick and talk about why I went attack and defense. So, main reason that my Escanor currently is on an attack and defense set is because I use my green Escanor as a crit cleave character. And what I mean by that is I use him with my team with Blue Zeldris, Death Pierce, and I also use Blue Liz on that team as well. Right now, that's my favorite team to run, and it's really, really fun for me to play. Is it the best build for Escanor? Well, I'm going to go over why I built it and what the thought process it was versus telling you what's best. So, Escanor's base crit chance is about 20%. It's extremely low. You can see mine right now is about 28%. His crit damage is about 150, all said and done. And after Super Awakening, all that jazz is about 181%. You do get a little bit from cosmetics, and that does boost you a little bit, but you really don't get a ton out of crit damage out of other things. And what I wanted to do is hit really, really, really hard on one unit with my Escanor. And by using Death Pierce to increase his damage, by using Zeldris to make sure I can actually remove any kind of debuff all the time, makes it really, really good to run a green Escanor with an attack and defense build. Green Escanor, in my opinion, should only ever be built for an attack and defense build. And if you go with an HP and defense gear build, what you're going to run into are Valenti compositions. And Valenti compositions, the thing that they will do to you is actually patience you, which is a very annoying thing. So, oh wait, Sekapoko, the addition of red Escanor coming to the game, making it so that he's going to be way bigger damage and way better against Valenti compositions, wouldn't you want to go HP and defense on a red Escanor? Well, for red Escanor, you can go with an HP and defense composition. So for this particular team setup, this is an entire team based around red Escanor. And I don't have Super Awakenings or gear on my red Escanor right now. The Red King, I think, as you are set on now. But essentially, this team is the mono red meta that you may have seen in a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of content from me in the early game from Global. And this mono red team is a very destructive comp. It does very well against Valenti compositions, does very well against Pierce compositions. Overall, is a very, very strong team. What are the weaknesses of team? The main weakness of this team is RNG. If you have bad RNG, it does horrible. If you have good RNG, it does really well. You can't really ulti rush very heavily on this team because of the way it's built. You can't do a lot of things. So the character build on every single unit on this team is HP and defense. The main thing on this team is you have to go first on this team. If you go second on this team, you're going to be in a much worse position. Why does this team have to go first? The main reason this team has to go first is because you have to tee up either your 3-star buff right away, or you have to make sure that the enemy team is not able to nuke you down by the time you buff. If you go second against a Pierce composition with this team, you're going to have a very hard time because your team's already at half HP. Life stealing it back all the way is going to be very tricky. Your go through is going to be lower HP. All of your problems are coming in a big wave. So that's why an HP and defense build would work well for every single unit on this team. So the reason I don't focus on this team and the reason I don't run this team that much anymore is because it's not fun. It's really boring to run this team. But if I was to go back to this team ever again, every single unit on this team I should have built HP and defense. But because I wanted to use Arthur in other damage teams, try out Arthur in different ways, I actually built an attack and defense set on my Arthur because I knew I was never going to go back to this team because I really don't like it that much. Arthur with an attack defense build is really fun, as we can see from the global version. Does tons of damage, very high pressure, very fun unit to use. Escanor with an HP and defense team on this build is really for survivability, because what happens even with his passive giving him 50% HP related stats for 3 turns, what happens against red Escanors a lot of the time is you fight a Kingbrim composition or any type of other thing that's going to then just lock out your Escanor. Really important. With an attack and defense build with no super awakenings, with full UR, you can expect about 47,000 combat class on your Escanor. That's really the difference between a super awakened Escanor and a non-super awakened Escanor for the total amount of difference. It's about 4,000 combat class. You can kind of see the difference in how it creeps up really quickly. If you would like to build an HP and defense Escanor on this particular thing, your second ability only has 150% attack, and if you're building an HP and defense Escanor, you should probably end up around 12,000 attack with a support unit at the end of this, so about 10,000 before support unit. And if you do use an HP and defense character and against a Valenti composition, you may not be able to go through shields. You might end up getting almost patience if you don't have UR sets, etc. So you might have like a little bit too low damage on an Escanor. HP and defense is a very risky build in my opinion because you do fall into these traps. An attack defense Escanor though does really well. So another thing that's going to be happening going forward is you're going to be able to use red Escanor on your PvP teams, and most likely what you'll do is you'll sub out whatever other character you want on your team and actually throw in Escanor on your main team for your Pierce compositions. And the reason you throw in Escanor is because you want to counter Valenti compositions. This gives you a more well-rounded team, but you are susceptible to not being able to kill a blue Lilia first turn or a blue Meliodas first turn. You fall into these traps where you're not as strong against these characters. So it is more to counter more Valenti compositions. Hopefully that will help you increase your win rate and give you a little bit more damage. Those types of teams are very strong on the global version. If you do want to build for a red Escanor on a Pierce composition and run these types of teams, that's what you could do potentially in order to get that done. An HP and defense character on this particular team is not really needed. Building an HP and defense Escanor on a Pierce team makes absolutely no sense because the entire team is built around you doing a large amount of damage in your first and second turn, and it's not built around you sustaining for a long period of time. So the next logical question I'm going to get asked is, Sekapoko, should I pull on red Escanor? Bro, that is 100% up to you in your wallet. If you're free to play though, and you're considering pulling on red Escanor, my answer to you is probably not. So guys, I asked the Twitch chat to give me some backup on here, just so you guys had some metrics on how people were feeling in the Twitch community for pulling. And as you can see here, should I pull on red Escanor as free to play? 4.2% of people right now are saying yes, you should pull 100% because Escanor. Now it's even going down even further. Got 150 votes in so far. No, I should not pull. Pulling on this would be stupid as hell, is the primary thing. And then the third option, which is where I think you guys are going to be anyways, because there's nothing I can say to stop you because it's fucking Escanor, is I'm going to pull even though I know I shouldn't. So I know all of you are going to be in this category where you're all going to pull and you know you shouldn't pull, but you're still going to pull, and then you're going to complain that you have no diamonds later. It's okay. We are going to do it too. I know if you're free to play, you're going to pull anyways. There's nothing I can say to stop you. So just have fun with it, right? Just because of where the banners have fallen, where everything's going, your pulls on Lilia and Valenti, buying the cosmetics coming out, all that stuff. No, I'm going to say no to free to play. You can't pick this. The smart thing, of course, is to wait to get it in the coin shop banner a little bit later. Have fun, do whatever you want to do, but You have my advice. You know what the smart thing is. You decide on what the dumb thing is. The reason I say no to free to play is because he's in the fucking coin shop and you can just pick it up later. There's no point if you're free to play to pull on it unless you're trying to flex. And if you're trying to flex and you get screwed over later, don't whine at me. Don't whine at anyone else. It's your own fucking fault. So if you wanted to flex, go for it. But again, your own freaking fault. There's no one else that you can blame but yourself. He is available in the coin shop, as you can see, as a permanent unit right there on the screen. And he is in discount right now on the Japanese version. Do not complain if you don't pick up Red Escanor this time around. You can pick him up later. You always have the ability to pick him up. Green Escanor is just fine till now. If you wanted to counter Valenti compositions, it's free to play, and you wanted to pull on a Red Escanor banner, you don't have stuff later, you're screwed. Other characters that could be coming out later. With final on the podcast today, Nog brought up a really good point about Derriere being a primo unit. There is going to be another final boss coming out. There'll be Meliodas and Liz, which will be another final boss, and then one right after Merlin. Derriere is the character that's the best for that, even though she came out about halfway through that fight. Derriere is one of the primo units for damage on that fight, and the green and red Derriere banner may come out within the next month and a half, I would say, because of that. So we got about 2 weeks on this Merlin. We have Meliodas, maybe 2 weeks on this thing right now. So about anywhere between 3 and 6 weeks from now, we should get Derriere in the game. If they're you can use that as the primo unit for final boss Liz, as well as final boss Liz and Meliodas. In between that time, Coin Shop Estarossa, which is green Estarossa, which is the good one, and red Estarossa should be available at some point in between then. We have Monspeed, both green and red version there. We have green and red Fraudrin, green and blue Fraudrin, which is on the banner that got released for red LV Meliodas. We also have Gloxinia needs to be released as well. So over the next few weeks, my assumption is we're going to get Gloxinia, Monspeed, and Estarossa. We might even get Valentine's banner mixed in the middles. We'll see. But again, if you're wailing on this banner, just know that you may have less resources that you need it for other banners. You do not need this Escanor as a pullable unit. You can actually just pick him up in the coin shop. He might even be on the coin shop on release. We'll see. Or if they follow the normal global pattern, it'll be 2 weeks after launch, which will be after Final Boss Merlin. If you're going to be pushing score and Final Boss Merlin, of course, you're going to be needed pulling on this unit. That's probably going to be the thing that they're going to make you do just so they can make money. But if you're going free to play, can you clear it and get a decent score? Yeah, you probably get a decent score without Red Escanor, so you probably be fine without him. There are other ways of getting points on this banner, points on this final boss. We'll have to see. All right, guys. My name's Sekapoko. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys enjoyed the video, of course, like, subscribe, all the fun stuff. Have a great rest of your day.